Hello everybody and welcome back in my kitchen. I'm very happy to see you here. Thank you very much for watching this video. So today I thought again, since it's Easter soon and since it's spring and since there has not been a baking video in a pretty long time now, I decided to upload another one, and I found such a cute little recipe online on Pinterest and I really wanted to recreate it. So here I am today trying to recreate this lovely recipe. So yes, let's just get started and I'll tell you everything you're going to need for this recipe. Now the recipe I found online, which will be linked down below, says the ingredients you need in the recipe listed is for 6 of these little apple roses. I'm going to make 12 of them because I'm just going to fill my regular muffin tin with it. So my ingredients, I just doubled the ingredients. I don't know exactly how much you need, but you can just take the ingredients from the recipe, which you can get if you click on the link in the description box, and then you will be good to go. So I just doubled everything for my recipe. So the recipe says you're going to need 2 organic red apples. Also you're going to need 1 frozen puff pasty. Mine are not frozen, mine are just from the cooling area in your supermarket, and I just got 2 because it says for 6 you need 1, so for 12 you're going to need 2 probably. Then you're going to need a lemon juice, half a lemon juice, the juice from half a lemon basically. I just have a organic lemon juice here. I don't know exactly how much I'm going to need from this, but I think it's basically for your apples, so I think you will see later on, but as far as I remember from the recipe, you're going to need this for your apples. Also you're going to need 1 tablespoon of flour, just some plain flour to sprinkle your concha because of the puff pasty to roll it out. Also you're going to need some cinnamon, but cinnamon is optional, just if you like it, and I love cinnamon, so I have cinnamon. Also you're going to need 3 tablespoons of apricot preserve or marmalade. I have just apricot marmalade here, and some powdered sugar to sprinkle when they are done. And I think that is everything. Is that everything? Yes, that is everything. So yes, so this is everything you need. It's super simple. There is not a lot of stuff you're going to need for the recipe. And now let's get started and make some apple roses for spring and for Easter. And I think this would be perfect for an Easter brunch or something like that. So that is why I'm making this video now. So first of all, wash your hands and put your hair out of the way. If you're wondering, by the way, why I am wearing such dark makeup today, I just filmed another one of my 1 week man makeup palette looks. So if you're interested in how I created this makeup look, there will be probably a link down below, so that will be easier for you to find the tutorial, just a side note. So first of all, and to start with, I'm going to butter my tin, or just butter the thing you're using to put your roses in. Of course you can use whatever you want to. I just think that a muffin tray tin, however you want to call it, is the easiest, and I think the size will be very nice. So I'm going to butter this generously, I can never say that word, and then I'm going to come back to you. Alright, now you're going to want to preheat your oven to 190 degrees Celsius or 375 Fahrenheit. And then we are going to start with the little roses. I'm very excited and I hope that they will turn out right. Alright, now next step is preparing the apples before you put them in your pastry. So I got a bowl about this size. I think you can also get a kind of plate, anything you'd like to. I just think in a bowl it would be the easiest. Now in here you're going to want to add some water and some of the lemon juice, and I don't know exactly how much, none of the recipes says exactly how much water you should add, but I think it's not really necessary because you just want to put your apples in and then out again, so it's not so important. But I think I'm going to fill it like half with water, and then I'm going to spritz in some lemon juice. Not too much, just a little bit. So here I have my bowl of water and my lemon juice. Now I'm going to get the tablespoon, and I think I'm going to, I guess, like 3 tablespoons. If I can open that bottle, okay. Carefully. I think that should be enough. Either way, if you get organic ones or not, you should really wash it very good, so that the peel will be very clean and everything. And even if you get organic apples, they get dirty and the air is dirty and everything, so wash your apples very nicely. Alright, and now we come to cutting them. I think for a start I'm going to just cut 2, and then I'm going to see how much I'm going to need. I just don't want to cut all of them, and then in the end there's half of them which I don't need. So for cutting them, I'm going to quickly remove the sky and just cut them in half, like that. So that's not really half. And try to cut out the inner part without cutting your fingers. Preferably. I never did that. I have no idea how far in I have to go. Like that, looks good. And you're going to want to do that with all of your apples. And now you're going to want to cut thin. Slices like that. And this is now 1 apple, just so you know. And then you get your bowl with the water and the lemon juice. And then you're going to want to put your apple slices in there. Going to set that one aside. So what I'm going to put away on the side are the slices which I think are too thick. Or kind of a lot thicker than the other ones. And I'll get them all in the water down there. Now what you're going to want to do with that bowl now is to put it in your microwave for, let me check that, about 3 minutes. So it's basically to heat them up and to make the apples cook a little bit, to prepare them for the next step. Now since I don't have a microwave, I'm going to just put them in my preheating oven, I think for the same amount of time. So I don't want them to cook completely because I don't want them to be too soft later on. So I think I'm just going to put them in the oven for about 2 to 3 minutes whilst it is preheating, and just keep checking on them and see how they are doing. Okay, now next step, whilst the apples are in the oven, or if you're already done, is the puff pasty. So alright, now here you have your pasty. Mine's a cooled one, so that is how that one looks. It's basically the finished dough. Now you want to make sure that the surface you're working on is clean before you unroll it and work with it. And now you're going to want to cut the dough you have there in a rectangular shape, and it says in the recipe it should be about 6 stripes. Since I have a different dough, I don't know exactly how many I get out of it. So the stripes should be about 2 inches to 9 inches or 5 centimeters to 22. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stripes out of it, but only because I think that one is a little too narrow and that one's a little bit too wide. So if you have a dough like me, you're going to get 7 stripes out of it. Just so you know, because normally it says it's a amount for 6 roses or I think that's it. So I think you probably should cut more than 5 centimeters and more like 6 or over 6, because that one really looks a little bit too narrow. Okay, so that's that. Alright, and now quickly back to the apples. I left them in the oven about, I would say, 6 minutes. So it's basically to prepare your apples to make it easier for the next step. Now when something like that happens, it's already bad, and that is why it is so important that you cut them in very thin slices, because thicker slices would just break if you try to roll them later on. I think that one is okay. So we're going to have to see how good it will work. I'm just thinking about putting them in the oven a little bit longer, to be honest. So when you cut them, make sure that they're all pretty thin, like that one. I think that's a good thickness because you can roll it easily. But I think I should probably put them in the oven a little longer. I don't know, just... So what you're going to want to do now is to strain your apples and just get rid of all the water. Okay, now you're going to want to prepare your surface where you want to work on for the next steps. So that's easy, just clean it and then sprinkle it with flour, just so there won't be anything that can stick on, and then you can get started. Alright, the next step now is in a bowl. I have a huge mug, this is a bowl. You're going to want to put 2 tablespoons of water with 3 tablespoons of the apricot stuff you want to use, and mix that together. And you're also going to want to microwave this to heat it up, make it a little bit more liquidy for about 1 minute. And now you're going to want to put that on your dough. That. And now you're going to want to place your apples on the dough like that. Just half of the apple above the dough and half of it on the dough. And place them like that. And now you're going to see why it is that important that your apples are thin layered and that they are softened the step before. And now if you want to, you can add a little bit of cinnamon. That's totally up to your taste. If you don't like it, then just skip that. But I always think that apples and cinnamon go amazing together. And now what you're going to want to do is put that part which is below the apples and fold it up onto the apples like that. Press that end part a little bit together like that. It's a little bit messy, so don't wonder. And now carefully start rolling them. And now you know what is that important, that you have soft apples and thin slices like that, rolling, 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 and that easy you get an apple rose. Well, that is basically everything you're going to have to do for an apple rose. Also, what I learned just now, if you have a little bit of dough on the side which comes last, it will be easier. So don't put your apples all the way to the outer corner, and then seal it just like that. Hope that you can see that. I hope that you can see it. You just put the dough down like you would do it with clay or something. And then you have your rose. It's really simple and they look so pretty. It's really amazing. And just repeat those steps as often as you have to. And here they are. Look how beautiful those roses look. Honestly, I'm really impressed also with myself. It's really easy actually to make these. It's just, you just have to get the hang of it basically. That's everything. So you see some of them are really nice, others do not look that nice, but they all look like roses. That one is a little bit crooked here. So once you get the hang of it, it's really easy and very quick to make. Now the recipe says that you just put them in the oven for about 40 to 45 minutes. So in they go into the oven, and then we will see how they look later on. Always, I think you should keep an eye on them, because you don't want the apples to burn too much, so that the roses just would be black basically. So keep an eye on them, and I definitely will set my first alarm to 40 minutes and then see how they are doing. So while these guys are in the oven now for 40 minutes or 37 minutes, I thought I'd quickly share a few experiences I made with the recipe and with making these little apple roses. Basically, it's really easy. You just have to get the hang of it. And a few things I learned. Number one, really cut your apples as thin as anyhow possible. Get out any slice which is slightly too thick, and use your microwave if you have one. So I think it's just so much more easy to soften your apples, which you basically do when you put them in the microwave with the water. And it's so much more easier to make the roses, to roll the little dough part, if you have really soft and thin apple slices. So that's that thing. What else? Do not use too much of the apricot stuff, because then it will go everywhere. But do not use, you have to use enough, because that makes it a very juicy and nice to eat later on, and very fruity and fresh. But I think if you use too much, then it just goes everywhere, and that's just messy. So that's not a problem, but just a thought. Do not roll out your dough too thin. You don't want it to be too thick, because then you have a lot of dough on the ends and in the middle. But if you make it too thin, then it's very easy to rip apart when you roll it. So don't make it too thin. So that's 3 things I think I learned, which might help. Otherwise, you really easily get the hang of rolling them, and it's so easy to achieve that beautiful look of them. So it's a really simple, and you never thought, when I saw them the first time, and I immediately thought I want to try this. I really thought that there would be more to it, but it's really simple, and actually a recipe which you can make very quickly. So the baking part is pretty long, with 40 to 45 minutes. Preparing takes quite a while, but it's not bad, especially if you use that a ready-made dough out of the freezer or the fridge. So I'm very excited about it, and now I'm going to clean the kitchen because I made a total mess, and I will see you later on when they are done. And here they are. Don't they look amazing? Look at them, still gorgeous. Look how pretty they got. It's very lovely. So I think what I see now is that it would be nicer if you would add a few more apple slices, maybe, so that you have more kind of petals. Yes guys, and that is my little apple roses done. They are so pretty. Honestly, I could not be happier. Look how cute they are. I actually think that they could not have turned out any better. Maybe, I think I already said it, if you slice your apples thin enough, then you could add a few more little apple slices in every rose. I think that would make it maybe a little bit better. I don't know. I will definitely, my mom came home and said, oh, you have to make them for next Tuesday when a friend of her comes. Oh, and you definitely have to make them for Easter when we go to help my grandparents. And yeah, they look amazing. They would be amazing for every Easter brunch you might make. I actually think that they would be lovely for a wedding or anything like that. If you have a wedding where you make a lot by yourself, or if you're going to a friend's wedding where everybody brings something, or there are weddings like that, and I think these would be perfect. For every occasion where you have to bring something or where you want to bring something, perfect. And they're actually super easy to make, and get the hang of it, and then it's fine. One thing I wanted to add, which I forgot to say earlier, is that the amount of apples and of the apricot marmalade or whatever using, I used the amount of the 6 roses recipe, so of the original recipe, and that is enough for 12. So don't worry about that. It's actually more than enough. So yes, that's my video for today. Don't forget to let me know what you think, and of course always send me pictures or link me in your pictures on social media if you recreated this recipe, and you really should, because they are gorgeous and so pretty. And I did not even taste one. Which one? This one. I'm going to try this one. Let's see. Delicious. Look nice, are easy to make, and taste delicious. Actually, and I said before, maybe you skip the step where you mix the marmalade, if you use one, with water, and just add it out of the jar just as it is, because then it would be less liquidy and you could add a little bit more, and I think that would be actually very nice if you would have a little bit more of the apricot in these. So yes, this is everything I think I can say about it. I told you everything I learned as I made them. They turned out amazing, and they are really pretty, and I love them a lot, and I'm very happy now, and now I'm going to eat that one. Yes, thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and to subscribe for all my future baking videos. I hope that you all have a wonderful week ahead, and that your weekend was amazing. And yes, I will see you in my next video. I can't wait. Take care. Bye.